book friends! I'm hollering. Kinda. And welcome back to All the Things Sort of Truth, the alcohol-fueled chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sort of Truth series with a cloud full of craft brew on the side. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade, and we are about to stumble through Chapter 31 of Stone of Tears.
Yes, we are. I'm sure most people are stumbling already, like, why the yell? We will get there. It matters.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Before we get into the chapter, though, Jade and I just wanted a minute to chill out and talk with you guys about kind of plans we have for this podcast. We are getting some recommendations of things we try that might make the show a little bit better. So Jade and I have been thinking of different ways for us to make the show like the best it could be, because we want it to be good. We don't want to be putting crap out there. Not that we think we have been. And we actually have gotten a couple of suggestions from people, which we've been very open to. And so we thought that we would take a minute to tell anybody who's listening at all, if you have a suggestion for us, like, reach out and talk to us. We would be happy to hear what you guys think of what we're doing so far. We're adults. We can handle criticism. It's fine. Everything we've heard so far has been very respectful. And like the last one we read, the person who wrote it said, I'm not asking for you guys to change. It's just something that I kind of thought of and maybe you should consider. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. But long story short, we make a lot of jokes on the show and we say a lot of things that aren't necessarily true to the book.
Long-term wise.
Yeah, long-term wise, mainly for the purpose of entertainment. We're having fun and laughing at something. But the other reason is because we have finished the books and we know things that happen later, but not everybody listening has. And we feel like it's wrong to essentially drop big spoilers for people, especially if they haven't finished the books.
Well, it took a while for us to get to exactly what the method of us going through this shit was going to be, because there is a large world here and there's a lot of information. And honestly, even though we have read it all, it gets jumbled sometimes. So I feel like the most honest, smart way to go about it is only with the information that we've been given so far, so that we don't inadvertently step into something we don't know a whole lot about. Now, we already have a few times, just because everything is tied to things way farther in the series that a lot of you do know about. So it's just, this is the best way that we found to go through this. And we are trying to figure out ways to, the term somebody used was earmark things for later dates for us to bring up. And whether or not we need to let you guys know, like, hey, asterisk, this is coming up. Or do we just make sure we mark it down for us? So if you guys have any thoughts on how we can approach that, we would love to hear them. If not, that's cool too. We're going to try and keep reworking this as we go through the next however many books we have to cover, just to continually keep making this the best that we can for us and for you guys, because there's a lot and we know it.
Yeah. Well, it's alive. It's like the map project. We're willing to change. It can change. It can be whatever it is everybody and us need it to be.
Yeah.
And that's our goal. We just want it to work the best.
And have fun while we're doing it, because we're enjoying doing it together and with all of you, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
And we definitely don't want that to change. The day it becomes a chore is going to be a bad day for the podcast, I think.
The beer will help with that, though.
Yeah, well, it typically does. But with that out of the way, I think we should get into this chapter.
Yeah, we're going to walk into the chapter like Richard and Verna are walking into this magical storm system.
Do you plan that ahead of time?
Yeah, I always do.
Fantastic. Oh, you do?
Always,
okay.
Every time.
I was going to say, if that just came off the top of your head, you're way better at this than I am.
So they're trying to get through the towers and get to the other side. Verna warns this dude he needs to stay close because what they're seeing isn't real. And, he's essentially tripping balls again, basically, is what I think is happening.
the world is tripping balls, and he is stone cold sober.
Right. He's experiencing the world trip. It's just nothing you see is real. The dragon is not there.
Don't trust it. You
can't fuck this dragon.
It adds a layer of chaos to everything because no matter what the rules are in the book so far, no matter what the series has told you, that means beyond this point, anything is possible.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking wild. Vern is like, stay close to me because everything is going to be pretend. And then the second you walk in there, whether you're close to her or not, you don't know if she's real. So
yeah,
it's really just a crapshoot. It would be much better, although a compass probably wouldn't work, I'm assuming, with all the magic swirling around, if she said, look, walk south.
Yeah, but the magical storm is moving around you, so you got to keep popping into the open spaces, you know?
Oh, yeah, so you can't just walk in a straight line. You have to
navigate
duck and weave.
Yeah. But the horses act like everything's chill, so I feel like if the horse isn't freaking out, just, like, follow the horse, right?
Yeah, the horse is pretending to eat the grass and seems perfectly fine. Of course, if Verna is saying, look, none of this is real, and the horse is unconcerned, then, and hey, yeah, it comes up later in the chapter, but the horses continue to do this through the whole chapter. They're fucking fine.
Yeah, they're not scared at all.
So maybe instead of the horse being a dumb animal unaffected by magic, maybe in reality, which this does kind of tie into like the earmark thing we were talking about, I guess. In reality, things might be fine.
Yeah.
And the horse could be seeing what's actually going on.
I think the only flaw in that is if they're eating grass that actually isn't there.
Then they are fucking tripping balls.
Right, because like they were, as far as we know, Richard was in like a desert area, so there shouldn't be grass there.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
But, I mean, yeah, they're not seeing what Richard's seeing for sure.
So Verna tells Richard that she thinks something's wrong. She can't find her way through the storms of magic, like you were talking about. You kind of have to navigate, duck and weave, and she's not feeling where she's supposed to go because visually everything is fucked. Everybody's apparently seeing different things. She tells Richard, you don't know what I'm looking at, so don't tell me to stay calm because, I mean, for me, it'd probably be giant spiders or just one big fear fest.
Yeah.
And Richard is asking her why. She said it's because this time through, it's going to be harder to find her way. She has more power for one. We know this. She's essentially three sisters combined, and these things are attracted to magic. So that could be making it more difficult. It could have also recognized her from before. Mm-hmm. So it knows how to fuck with her. And so that's making it more difficult for her to get through. And the other option is that it could be Richard.
Yeah.
He is starting to fuck around with magic. We know he's a wizard, or at least he's learning to become a wizard, or going to. And he's going to be powerful, so it could be locking onto him as well. We don't really know the reason, and Verna doesn't either, but they don't have a choice. Like, they gotta go through.
Well, and honestly, it occurs to me right now, it could just be the sword, too. Like, normally, when the sisters are guiding somebody through this path, they're like little boys, so they don't have anything magic with them. Richard is carrying, like, a lightning rod of magic right now.
Oh, yeah. It just does stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean, it very well could be the sword just being like, hey, everybody, I'm a beacon of magic. Come hit the dude who's carrying me.
I mean, that actually is a really good point. Later in the chapter, he doesn't have the sword in his hands, and he can still feel the magic, because he's one with the blade. He doesn't have to actually have it in his hand to, like, summon the magic from it.
Right.
But yeah, so it's going to be really, really hard for them to get through here. And Verna tells Richard that no matter what, you have to try. Even if we get separated, even if I die, she's worried immediately she's not going to make it. And Richard, being Richard, promises her she's going to make it through.
But first he's like, yo, if we get separated, I'm going back to my homeland because it's like right there. I'm not going all the way through this shit for a place I don't know. Just so we're clear, that's obviously the better choice. And she, like, freaks out about it.
Yeah, there's a magical inferno here, but I could just go that way and avoid all of this together. So, yeah, I'm going to do that.
That's where I wanted to go in the first place. So I have a dragon tooth.
I got a dragon tooth, plus I have a magical sword. Something that popped in my head during this chapter is, okay, so now the prospect of Richard getting away from Verna has come up. And Richard, for the first time, is trying to figure out, maybe not actively, but it has come across his mind, what he's going to do if suddenly he doesn't have Verna to keep him there.
Mm-hmm.
You do have a magic sword that we know will cut iron just as well as wood. Why not consider trying it? Like, it would be super dangerous. Don't get me wrong. That's probably exactly the reason why, because you would have to slip it up, like, right next to your neck. I can't make the motion and talking to the microphone at the same time. But, like, you'd have to put it right here next to the collar, and then you wouldn't have anywhere to move. You would just have to, like, tug on it and see if the magic would do it.
Or you die.
Or you die, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. If it doesn't go well, then it goes really, really bad.
I think just the fact that he doesn't have a solution that he knows of without the sisters. He thought Zed might be able to help, but he doesn't know for sure. He's been told it won't work. And the whole, like, Kaylin tossing him away, making him all depressed of it is probably just why that hasn't occurred to him yet.
Okay, yeah.
But they end up on the topic of what Verna really is, like, so fucking scared of when they're going through here. And it was a man she loved who tried to kill her. It was fucking Jedediah.
That motherfucker!
Yeah.
So apparently, this guy is a repeat offender.
Unless it's another Jedediah, but so far we have not had double names. So there's a possibility that there's two Jedediahs who are fucking the sisters in the Palace of the Prophets. But, I mean...
It's probably the same dude.
It's probably the same dude.
Yeah.
Now, timelines may seem a little wonky at this point, but I'm sure we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, what we do know is that she left the Palace of the Prophets a long time ago. She said she was younger than Richard. They didn't know if he had been born yet, but they knew he would be, and they knew it was their job to find him. So she's telling Richard that in the time she's been out looking for him, she's assuming that this Jed guy has found another woman to be with because it's been a long time, and that he's moved on, so it's done effectively. Even though we haven't really broke up, we're just apart from each other. We haven't spoken to each other. He is being unfaithful by now, for sure. So it's just over. And Richard's trying to explain to her, hey, you're still hanging on for him, so maybe he is there hanging on for you. Of course, we know that Jedediah is a big piece of shit who, turned in his old girlfriend for the Sisters of the Dark.
Yeah, who maybe didn't care about her a lot, if he did care about her at all.
Yeah, if at all, but he gave her up to them.
Yes.
So, he made her paralyzed and then die in tears. And it was really sad. So, fuck him. But Richard, because of his experience with Kaylin, they've been separated before, and they both held out. Richard saying, hey, this is possible. I
want to point out Richard tries to wave this away, and Verna says, oh, he's just so young or whatever. The reality of the situation is there's a really good chance this dude fucked somebody else, and if they were to get back together, even if they do have feelings, she would have to get over that. So,
yeah.
I mean,
she'd have to make a choice whether or not she'd be okay with that, because once you get back together with somebody, you're essentially saying that I've forgiven you for that.
Right, and some people can't do that. Now, Richard obviously thinks this is fine, because you know what he was doing while he was being tortured? Also fucking somebody else.
I didn't even think about that.
And Kaylin has to be like, that's cool, you're kind of in love with the lady who was torturing you, / you were fucking her. It's great, whatever. So I understand maybe why Richard would have that take on it, but it's not super realistic.
Because he has to.
Yeah.
He has to do that to make the mental gymnastics land, so to speak.
Yeah.
This has to be okay in some way, which really, I mean, people fall out of love all the time. People move on. Divorce is a thing. These two aren't even married, it sounds like.
No.
So, I mean, it's sad, but yeah, like you're saying, realistically, people do split up.
Yeah,